hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we have here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are all caught up with the manga, or you don't care about me talking about spoilers and speculation that are going to be based on stuff that take place in the manga. So with that being said though, let's jump right into the actual discussion. So I think we need to have a conversation right now about Sasuke Uchiha, because in the last few chapters of the Boruto manga, ever since everything that's gone on with Sasuke and the Boruto Shiki stuff, Sasuke's been noticeably absent in the actual series. We know based on the actual chapter leaks that it's been a full week since Boruto was given the Byakugan pills, and we have not seen Sasuke, and we know that there are searches going on right now for people to actually try and track down the location of code. And when it comes to trying to track down people, we have a freaking expert in the character of Sasuke Uchiha. And I'm really wondering at this point, are we in a situation where Sasuke's being served up? Now, I know a lot of people want to parallel completely, and I don't think you're crazy, but a lot of people want to parallel completely that like Boruto Part 1 is going to be just like Naruto Part 1, where we're going to have Sasuke play the Jiraiya role and take Boruto on a time skip training arc. And I think that more than likely that's probably something that's possible. However, I think that we're also in a situation where we can't ignore something that's actually out there. We have a character in Daemon, and this is going to piss a lot of people off, but we have a character in Daemon who is a perfect counter to Sasuke in ways that Jigen and Sasuke could never actually be. And that's crazy given the fact that like Jigen and Sasuke had a dojutsu that could shrink any chakra based attack that comes their way, and Jigen had that karma seal that was able to absorb any and every attack that Sasuke could throw. So I know somebody's like, how is Daemon an even more dangerous character? Well, it comes down to his actual ability, and based on the actual chapter, we know that there are a few things that are actually at play right here. Number one, Daemon can have that ability running at all times. It's instinctual at this point. You can't sneak attack this kid. If you try to do so, you're going to end up in a situation where that attack is going to backfire on you. And then that goes back to the frontal attack. You can't do a frontal attack on him, because if you try and say chop off this dude's head, you're going to chop your own head off. If you try and hit this kid with a fire style fireball jutsu, you're going to burn your own face when you try and do so. You can't actually harm this kid when you come at him with killing intent. And I think that you're in that situation where when you look at Sasuke, when you stay in character for how this dude actually fights, Sasuke is one of those characters where he sees a threat, he goes to eliminate. That's one of the first things that Sasuke attempts to actually do. Sasuke does not actually take the time out to fill out the character. Sasuke goes straight for the kill. And if he approaches Daemon with that same bloodlust intention, Sasuke is going to find himself in a situation where before he even has the opportunity to use something like Izanagi, he's going to be in a situation where he ends up killing himself. And that's going to be very interesting right there, because if you're Sasuke, how do you actually combat this actual person? Now, I think that it kind of comes down to actually fighting the kid and being in a situation where you're not using physical attacks, you're not trying to actually physically harm the kid. I think that genjutsu is going to be the way that Sasuke might have the opportunity, because you're not actually trying to actually kill him if you use genjutsu. I think that that could be that one way right there. But even then, just kind of keeping it real with you, I kind of wonder if genjutsu can even be 100% effective against somebody like Daemon, because even though it'd be something that would be very subtle, especially when it's somebody that has the Sharingan using it, genjutsu controls the chakra flow of the nervous system, and that's kind of how the ninja is able to target the five senses that the person is going through, and then they make the elaborate illusions and everything. So I'm kind of wondering if genjutsu will even work on Daemon. That's the crazy thing. So not only would it be physical attacks, it would also be something indirect like genjutsu. But I think that's really Sasuke's only hope of combating Daemon if it comes down to a straight up fight like that. Unless you think Sasuke's gonna sit there and whip out the talk no jutsu and talk this kid into surrendering. I don't think that that's the case. This is really the first time I've ever said, like, man, it really would come in handy if Sasuke had his rinnegan, because Sasuke's rinnegan would be able to find the weakness to Daemon's abilities if he was able to actually use it on Ada. And what I mean by that is the fact that if Sasuke was able to use rinnegan against Ada, it's a situation where he could use the King of Hell, he could interrogate her, and he could find out how Daemon's abilities work and actually find a way to actually get around Daemon's ability. But then that also kind of comes down to, could Sasuke even use that against Ada because of how Ada's ability works right there. So you're kind of seeing right now why Ishiki, when he was controlling Jigen, looked at Amato and said like, yo, these cyborgs gotta go. I don't care that you kidnap some kids and that you experimented on their bodies and that you upgrade them. I don't care. They gotta go. Because when you really look at it, they have powers that can counter abilities that the Otsutsuki have. Like, that is absolutely insane right there. On one hand, Ada's ability will not work on an Otsutsuki, but she has information. Information on your enemy is the most dangerous asset you can have going into battle. Being able to see every move that your enemy makes that they think that they're actually disguising makes somebody like Ada extremely dangerous, because you might be thinking you're going for a sneak attack and she's seeing it unfold in real time. Then it becomes a matter of, does she have the actual reflexes to actually avoid the attack, or does she let Daemon know what's going on and Daemon just hops in front of her to protect her? Ada is a very dangerous character in combination with the character of Daemon, which really makes you wonder, what other cyborgs does Amato have? And let's just look at the character of Daemon now. Daemon's ability, unless it's something similar to Ada's, to where that ability to reflect jutsu has the same weakness to where it doesn't work on somebody that has Otsutsuki genetics, the fact that they have combat ability that's enough to scare Jigen kind of makes you sit there and say, damn, if only Sasuke had a way that he could have used his rinnegan. But again, the rinnegan's null and void at this point. I've seen people suggesting that that would have been a way to actually come up with a way to counter Daemon. But even then, I'm kind of thinking that even if Sasuke had rinnegan and he tried to use human path to rip out Daemon's soul, he would end up just ripping out his own soul, because it's all attacks with killing intent to get reflected back. This kid is absolutely busted. And I stand by what I said a few days ago. The only way that it really makes sense for Sasuke to engage with this kid Daemon is if he has a bunch of fodder ninja who have a high rank, that their only purpose in the story is to attack Daemon in front of Sasuke. That way Sasuke can actually break down his jutsu, because if Sasuke sees it a couple times in action, he's gonna be able to actually find a weakness for it. Otherwise, if Sasuke fights Daemon on his own alone, Sakura's gonna find out very quickly what the life insurance policy for somebody like Sasuke is. And we gotta keep it real for a second. I'm kind of wondering if Sasuke even has life insurance, because this man clearly don't have shinobi disability benefits, because he's lost a whole arm, he's lost an eye, and my man's showing no signs of any type of actual assistance when it comes to that stuff. What's next? My man gonna lose his leg next? Jokes aside though, man, like, we're in a situation right now to where it's a definite no-win situation for the character of Sasuke. It's for that reason I don't think we're gonna have a situation where Daemon ends up going up against Sasuke, because if that happens, that has to be the character that kills Sasuke, because he's a walking counter for anything that Sasuke can do. It's gonna take a workaround on Daemon's jutsu that's a pretty big ass pull, or something very childish that fits Daemon's character, for Sasuke to actually have a way to actually come around his actual ability, because his ability's running all the time. And Sasuke in character doesn't fight people to restrain them. Sasuke goes right for the kill most of the time when he identifies you as a threat. So I'm kind of curious to see how Masashi Kishimoto handles that. I think that Sasuke's main role in any type of interaction with Daemon is to discover the weakness for the character, but then this kind of comes down to it. How does Sasuke actually get away from Daemon if he's by himself? So I want to know from you guys, On a scale from 1 to 10, how screwed would Sasuke be if he went up against Daemon? Let me know down in the comment section. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.